We spent 3 nights trying to contact something. What I didn't understand until the last night is that we didn't need to try. Whatever was in that house was already there, and it had been watching us since the moment we arrived. I know how that sounds. I know what you're already thinking. By the end of this, I think you'll understand why I can't say it any other way. My name is Becca. I'm 26. I live in Knoxville, Tennessee, and that October I was sharing a rental house with 2 of my closest friends, Priya and Jade. We'd rented the place for 3 weeks while Priya's apartment was being renovated. It was a 2-story house in an older part of the city. High ceilings, dark wood floors, the kind of house that has a personality. The spirit contact thing was Jade's idea. She'd been into that kind of stuff since high school, not seriously, just curious. She had a spirit box app on her phone, a couple of candles, and a printed list of questions she'd found online. We weren't believers. We were 3 women in an old house in October with nothing to do on a Friday night. It seemed harmless. Friday night, we sat in a circle in the living room. Jade ran the app. It makes a static sound and supposedly pulls words from radio frequencies. That's the theory anyway. We asked questions. Are you here? Is anyone with us? What do you want? The app produced words at random. Most of them were meaningless. Cold, window, left. We laughed. We went to bed. I slept fine. Saturday morning, Priya told us she'd woken up at 3 a.m. She said she'd heard the floorboards in the hallway outside her room creak, slowly, like someone walking. She'd waited and then checked. Nobody there. We told her it was an old house. Old houses settle, they expand and contract. She nodded. But she didn't laugh the way she had the night before. Saturday night, we tried again. This time Jade turned the app off halfway through. She said it felt different from the night before. The words weren't random anymore. She showed us the screen. In the space of 4 minutes, the app had produced, Becca, upstairs, don't. My name was the first word. I told myself these apps are designed to feel personal. They pull words that sound meaningful. It's confirmation bias. You notice the hits and ignore the misses. I've read about how they work. There's no mystery in the technology. I said all of this out loud. Jade and Priya both nodded. None of us went upstairs alone that night. Sunday morning, I found something that I couldn't explain away. In the kitchen, on the counter next to the coffee maker, there was a photograph. Face down, I picked it up. It was a picture of 3 women sitting around a table. I didn't recognize the women. I didn't recognize the table. But I recognized the room. It was our living room, the same curtains, the same light fixture, the same crack in the plaster above the window. 3 women I had never seen sitting in our living room in a photograph I had never seen that was not there when I went to bed. We searched the house. We went through every drawer, every cabinet, every box we could find. We couldn't find where the photograph had come from. We called the rental company. They said the house had been vacant for 2 weeks before we arrived. No cleaners had been inside. Nobody had a key except us and the emergency contact number on the lease. I asked if there were any photographs left by previous tenants. The woman on the phone went quiet for a moment and then said she'd look into it. She never called back. Sunday night, Jade didn't want to do the session. She was the one who'd started it, the one who believed in it most, and now she was the one who wanted to stop. She said it felt wrong in a way she couldn't articulate. Not scary exactly. More like being watched. More like something in the house had shifted its attention toward us and was now paying close attention. I felt it too. I just hadn't said it out loud yet. But then Priya said something that stopped us both. She said she'd done some research on the house while we were talking. Property records, old news archives, the kind of thing you find when you dig into a rental address. She said the house had been built in 1934. She said 3 different families had lived there between 1934 and 1961. She said in 1958, 3 women had died in the house. Ruled a carbon monoxide accident. 3 women. In October. None of us slept much that night. In the morning, Monday, our last full day, I went downstairs before the others. I made coffee. I stood in the kitchen and looked at the counter where the photograph had been. And I noticed something I had missed the day before. There were faint marks on the counter surface. Not scratches, more like outlines. 3 circular outlines close together, like the bottoms of 3 cups that had been set there recently. 3 cups where 3 women had been sitting before we arrived. I stood there for a long time. I know there are explanations. The marks could have been there before we arrived. The photograph could have been left by a previous tenant in a place we hadn't looked. The words on the app were random. The footsteps were the house settling. There is a rational explanation for every single thing that happened that week. I know that. I believe that. I am saying all of this while also telling you that on the morning we left, I looked at those 3 rings on that counter and I felt very clearly that we had not been alone in that house for a single moment since the night we arrived. We left that Monday afternoon. We loaded the car, we locked up, we drove away. Nobody talked much for the first hour. Jade said once, very quietly, "I don't think we contacted anything." And then after a pause, she said, "I think it noticed us. We didn't respond to that. We just kept driving." I've thought about that week a lot in the month since. I've tried to find information about the 3 women who died in 1958. I found a brief mention in a digitized local paper. 3 names, their ages, the address. Their first names were Helen, Ruth, and Clara. I don't know why I'm including that detail. I suppose I just think they deserve to be named. Whatever was in that house, whatever was watching us, it was there long before we arrived. And it will be there long after whatever tenant moves in next. The house is still listed on the rental site. I know because I checked. It has 43 reviews. Most of them mention the charm of the old building, the high ceilings, the beautiful wood floors. 2 of them, both from October, mention difficulty sleeping. One of them says very briefly that they felt like they weren't alone. The owner replied to that one. They said, "Old houses make all kinds of sounds. Nothing to worry about.